Good morning, my dear students. I am Sranya Hashmat, your social studies teacher. You are totally missed. Please follow the rules to be safe and sound. Today we're gonna continue our new lessons in the fourth quarter. Last time we took the Nile in ancient Egypt. Today we're gonna take the Old Kingdom. Let's start. Historians divided the Egyptian history into three major periods: the Old Kingdom, the Middle Kingdom, and the New Kingdom. These were periods of long term of stability, marked by four important characteristics. Number one, strong leaders. Number two, they created building projects such as the pyramids. Number three, freedom of invasion. And number four, rich cultural activity. And in between, there were intermediate periods, times of political disorder and invasion. At first, Egypt was made up of two kingdoms. One was Upper Egypt, which lay in the southern part of Nile Valley, and the other was Lower Egypt, which lay in the North Delta. And we said before why the south is called Upper Egypt and the north is called Lower Egypt, because the south of Egypt is higher than its north. The most important figure during that time was Meanness or Narmer. Narmer is another name for him. He was the king of Upper Egypt. He conquered Lower Egypt and married one of its princesses. He had many titles, such as Lord of the Two Lands, the wearer of both crowns, Lord of Upper and Lower Egypt. It's very important to mention that Meanness united Upper and Lower Egypt into a single kingdom and created the first royal dynasty. What's meant by dynasty? It's very important to know it. Dynasty is a series of rulers or leaders who are all from the same family. It's very important to know what were his achievements. What did he do? His first achievement was he united the two kingdoms. So it's a single kingdom, and he created one kingdom only. Okay, he wore a double crown, the high white one of the south and the shallow red one of the north. There were two crowns, one for the south and one for the north. In the south, they were a white one, and in the north they were a shallow one, and it's red. Meanness, he wore a double crown, which means that he put the white and the red, and they became one crown only. Number three, he set up a new capital at Memphis, a city on the border between Upper and Lower Egypt. Where is Memphis? Memphis is located south of Nile River Delta on the west bank of the river. This is Memphis on the map. It's very important to locate Memphis on the map. The Old Kingdom started in Egypt about 2600 BC, and it lasted for nearly 500 years. And we said before, BC means before the birth of the Christ. So it ended about 2100 BC. The Old Kingdom was an age of prosperity and splendor. What's meant by those words, prosperity and splendor? Prosperity, that means that the state of being successful. They were powerful and successful, those leaders. And splendor, there were great attraction and admiration and attention to those people. Most people or most Egyptians didn't live in cities. They lived on large estates along the banks of the Nile. What's meant by states? States or a state means a large area of land in the country which is owned by a family or an organization and is often used for growing crops or raising animals. Of course, we said before, banks of the river or the Nile River means the sides of the river. Who owned the states? The rich Egyptians who owned these states lived in wood and brick houses with beautiful gardens. Walls were decorated with brightly colored paintings that showed scenes of daily life. So a lot of decorations are inside the houses of rich Egyptians. A household was made up of an owner's family, servants, and artisans. Do you remember artisans? We took it before in Mesopotamia. Who were the artisans? Artisans means skillful workers. What did they do inside the house, this house? They were hired to do many things. To build boats, to weave linen, make tools and pottery. What's meant by weaving? Weaving means to make clothes on a loop, okay, by filling threads. And they make tools and pottery. And we said before, a pottery means it's a process of forming vessels and other objects with clay, which are fired at high temperature to give them a rigid and hard form. Most Egyptians were farmers who lived in villages on the state. So the farmers lived inside also the state with small villages inside it. At first, their houses were made of reeds and mud. Later, they were made of sun-baked mud brick. These houses generally had only one room with a roof made of palm leaves. It's very important to mention from where did they bring mud. Don't forget the annual flood of the Nile River. It's very important. It gives us soil, black soil, which is turned into mud after that, and they used mud to build their houses. What's meant by reeds? Reeds. They are tall plants that grow in large groups in shallow water, and they are always wet and soft. So we can easily make shapes using reeds. Egyptian farmers worked in fields and took care of the cattle. When they were not farming, they built monuments, dug ditches, and repaired roads. So while farming, they grow crops, different kinds of crops. But after farming, or when they are not planting the plants, they started to do many different activities such as building monuments, and this is our next lesson, inshallah. It's the pyramids. We are going to know the pyramids. Don't forget that the Old Kingdom is sometimes referred to as the age of pyramids. Next time we are going to mention a lot of details. Thank you and goodbye.